Happening now, a bipartisan duo of female lawmakers is leading an effort to combat sexual misconduct on Capitol Hill after a series of scandals rocked Washington. And an unprecedented moment last month, two now former members of Congress, Democrat Eric Swalwell and Republican Tony Gonzalez, announced that they would resign their House seats within hours of each other. Both face allegations of inappropriate sexual relations with staff, and multiple women accused Swalwell of sexual misconduct, which he denied. And that has led to a reckoning and even drove House Speaker Mike Johnson and Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries to announce a bipartisan partnership to tackle sexual misconduct in the halls of Capitol Hill. Joining us now are the leaders of that push, Republican Congresswoman Cammack of Florida and Democratic Congresswoman Teresa Leger Fernandez of New Mexico. They each chair their party's women's caucuses. Thank you both for coming on. So the Ethics Committee recently published this list of 28 sexual misconduct investigations it has pursued into lawmakers over the last 50 years. To both of you, why is this such a pervasive problem in Congress? First to you, Congresswoman Cammack.
Well, I think you see in Congress an incredible power dynamic that is imbalanced. And so I know Teresa and I have said, we need to stop these types of folks from getting to Congress in the first place, which can really be done through some additional disclosure requirements. But you see so many people who work in these offices who are always trying to get to a yes for their boss. And sometimes the boss or senior staff, they take that as an invitation for a little bit more. And so we have to really address how can we protect the people who are working on Capitol Hill in good faith and make sure that accountability doesn't begin and end with expulsion. We have to stop this behavior from happening and then the subsequent retaliation that comes with it.
Because when they leave, as we just saw with Swalwell and Gonzalez, then the House Ethics Committee loses its jurisdiction. I wonder what you think, Congresswoman Leger Fernandez, about why this is such a pervasive problem on Capitol Hill.
I think Kat laid it out really well. It is about power imbalance. And we need to remember that there has been a power imbalance between women and men across many agencies, across many industries. 1 in 4 women in the United States are sexually assaulted or abused. But what we need to say is that that cannot happen in Congress, that Congress needs to hold itself up to a higher standard, precisely because the women who come to serve in Congress are answering their own calling of wanting to be involved in public service. And they are willing to do so much to make sure that they can serve their constituencies, they can serve their party, whether it's Democrat or Republican. And so it makes it ripe for men, and it is mostly men, to take advantage of that power imbalance to say, well, I am everything in this world, and I get to use you as prey. A predator will take advantage of situations like this. And I believe that both of those former congressmen, and I am so glad that we were involved in making sure that they are former congressmen, that they just saw themselves of having a power and they use that power. And now one woman is dead because of it. And the other women are facing legal challenges. It is outrageous.
I'm curious, Congresswoman Cammack, since the creation of your partnership, have you heard about more claims of sexual misconduct or inappropriate relations that you're investigating from other members? What has that looked like?
So it's a couple of big issues that we're tackling, right? It's the reporting, streamlining where people can go to report. It's also the ethics committee, which needs to be resourced appropriately so they can effectively investigate these in a timely manner, because what we see is these investigations just go on and on and on, and there's really no resolution. And as you said, the jurisdiction is lost once these individuals are no longer in Congress. But I will say, since this partnership has been formed, not only have we had more and more staff come out of the woodwork who have said, previously I was scared to say anything, but this is just, I have to come forward. But I've also had people who are now off the Hill speak about their time working on the Hill. I've had other members, and I have had members of the media, journalists just last week who were covering this story who told me, hey, I had Eric Swalwell as a source, but he took that to mean that he could text me at all hours of the night and propositioned me over and over and over again. And I mean, it has just been absolutely disgusting what we have seen in the aftermath, and we know that there are more that need to be held accountable. I think Teresa's 100% right. We have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. If Congress can't be accountable, why can we even begin to have the conversation about the military, media, corporate America? We have to set the standard so that others can also begin to say, hey, this is a serious problem. We need to get this under control.
So, Congresswoman Leger-Fernandez, how many more staffers, for example, have come forward to say, you know what, now I feel more confident to step up and say what happened to me? Can you give us a sense? And are you seeing more male members of Congress being willing to cooperate on this effort?
So we are hearing from both staffers, from lobbyists, from journalists. Many came up to me afterwards, and I didn't know them, and they said thank you after I had brought the resolution to expel Gonzalez and work to expel Swalwell. They were just relieved, right? Because you have to have the first examples of when you conduct yourselves in this manner, there are consequences, because for too long there haven't been consequences. So we are receiving feedback from people who feel like there's too much retaliation. Another big issue, they feel there is nowhere for them to go. It's too confusing. The 2018 reforms put into place resources and the ability to say this is against our conduct, but it's confusing. So we want to have a single place where it's like I call it a 911 of sexual abuse. So somebody can pick up the phone, they know where to go, and they're going to get somebody who's going to work with them. Now, remember, our partnership is about reforming the system. We are not going to be involved in adjudicating whether somebody has or has not. We are reforming the system. And so we are asking people to come to the Republicans Women's Caucus, the Democratic Women's Caucus, share your stories of why you're not coming forward, what's happened, so that we can reform the system, put in place changes that we think we can do quickly before the August break, and then other changes that will be more long-term. And yes, as your last question, I have had numerous of my colleagues on the Democratic side, and even some of the Republicans, say, this is ridiculous that this is allowed to fester. We're going to be with you. We're so glad that you're working together. What can we do to help?
All right, Congresswoman Kat Cammack and Teresa Leger-Fernandez, thank you so much.